Hello, happy Halloween, and welcome to my 2025 Yu-Gi-Oh! Zombie deck update video. Yes, a number of years back, actually for another Halloween special, I made a deck profile for my zombie deck, and that went on to become the most popular video I have ever made on either of my channels. So hey, that's kinda cool. But that is, again, it's a deck from a couple years ago, and of course, things change. I have made changes to this deck. I still play it from time to time, actually, on Master Duel. But do remember that I make all of my Master Duel decks to be fully legal in the TCG, so you won't see any weird, illegal cards in this deck. Nope, it is all legit. So the way I'm gonna handle this deck profile, I am going to go over, in detail, the new cards in this deck. Everything else I will sort of glaze over after that, everything that you've already seen if you watched my original profile, which I will link in the description and maybe up in the corner as well. And then I'll do a quick gameplay demo of a couple key concepts that you can keep an eye out for. Hopefully this video won't be an hour long, so to make sure that doesn't happen, we are just gonna get started right now. So, what's new and why? Well, I will explain right now. I have added the most bare bones, King's Sarcophagus package to this deck that I possibly could. Because to be honest with you, I really don't like these standalone engines that are extremely powerful and just sort of play the game by themselves. But in this case, it is ultimately to do what the deck wants to do, and it does result in a zombie, a big zombie actually, being played. So it's okay. This is okay. Trust me. So, King Sarcophagus, what does this do? It's a continuous spell card. And, let's see if I can make this legible for you. There you go. So, Horus monsters you control can't be destroyed by card effects that do not target them. And you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard to send a Horus monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect up to 4 times per turn, which doesn't really happen. But once per turn at the start of the damage step, if your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. So yeah, this card just sort of sets up your graveyard with Horus monsters, and it kind of protects things and whatever. The important thing is you can use this to send things to the graveyard, both from your hand and from your deck. So I have one copy of King Sarcophagus. Sometimes people play more than one in their deck, but again, I'm trying to keep this to a minimum, okay? So one copy of King Sarcophagus. But I am also running 3 copies of Imseti Glory of Horus. So Imseti here is a level 8, and that's relevant. It is a spellcaster, I know, it's not a zombie. 3,000 attack is pretty big, and it does many things. There's a reason I run 3 of these. So if you control King Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. For free, you just do it. Funny how King Sarcophagus sends them to the graveyard. But also, only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including this card, to add King Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. Then you can draw a card, because why would anything have real costs? If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your monster zone, you can send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. So again, this is kind of a big boss monster in its own right. It does sort of deter your opponent from interacting with you, but the important thing is you can send this to the graveyard to get your King Sarcophagus, which will in turn allow you to special summon this for free. Yeah, funny how that happens. Almost like they designed it that way. But we have 3 of these because that is very important. And then we also have Dumatef, the Blessing of Horus, which is another level 8, 0 attack, 0 defense. This one is a beast. But if you control King's Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. And again, King's Sarcophagus just lets you load your graveyard with your Horus cards. Though this is only the other one that I use. I only use the 2 Horus cards. But what else does this do? It does other things. Gains 1200 attack and defense for each Horus monster you control. If another card in your control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your monster zone, then you can draw cards equal to the number of monsters with different names in your main monster zone. Only use this effect once per turn. So this sometimes lets you draw cards if your opponent does things. But again, the important thing about this entire Horus Engine is that it very easily, A, allows you to discard cards that you don't want in your hand, and B, it gets 2 level 8 monsters into play without even needing to use a normal summon or anything. And the reason we want to do that is in the extra deck, which we will talk about after the main deck, so keep that in mind. 2 level 8 monsters, what could that mean? Now, besides the Horus cards, I've also just added a bit of extra, like, interaction removal to this deck. It might have been a bit light on it to begin with, and now you really need a lot more if you want to compete with what modern decks are doing. So we have Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, which I run at 3 copies. So this is just one of those classic hand traps, right? If your opponent special summons a monster face up, then you can discard this card, target one of those face-up monsters, and negate its effects until the end of the turn. Also, if that face-up monster leaves the field this turn, its controller takes damage equal to its original attack. So this is just a pretty easy way to hose whatever monster your opponent special summons if you don't want its effects to go off. And the important thing, though, about Ghost Mourner is that it is itself a zombie. Now, normally if you're using this in a deck, that doesn't really matter, but in this zombie deck, that can actually be relevant, and it's a tuner which can also help you synchro summon some of your big zombie synchros. So it's useful in a number of ways, and that's why I've added the 3 copies of it to this deck. And then we just have the 1 copy of Rivalry of Warlords. I believe it's actually limited to 1, but each player can only control 1 type of monster, send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. So this is a nasty combo with another card in this deck that kind of makes it so that your opponent can't do a whole lot, and sometimes they just fold immediately to this card. So yeah, it's not very nice. I don't appreciate that very, very much. But you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, right? And there's only 1 copy of this, so it's not a big deal. If you have it, use it. If you don't have it, well, then maybe you can sleep a bit better at night knowing that you didn't use such dirty tactics. But yes, 1 copy of Rivalry of Warlords. Now let's just take a quick look through all of the sort of generic zombie effects in this deck. I'm gonna go through these pretty fast, so again, if you want more in-depth explanations, check out my original deck profile. I think all this stuff is still in there. Glow Up Bloom is a level 1. Long story short, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish it, and then you search a level 5 or higher zombie to your hand, or if you control Zombie World, a field spell, then you can special summon it right to the field. I only use 1 copy of this because it is very easy to get this into the graveyard, and you typically don't really need more than 1. Plague Spreader Zombie is another fun zombie that does things from the graveyard. It's a tuner. You can return a card from your hand to the top of the deck to special summon this from the graveyard. So, easy special summon. Unizombie, I do run this at 2. 1 copy of Plague Spreader Zombie, by the way, in case you're not actually watching the video. But Unizombie, we got 2 of these, level 3 tuner. It does a lot of things. This is kind of a starter as far as cards in this deck go. You can discard a card to increase target monster's level by 1, or you can target a monster on the field increase its level by 1, and then send a zombie monster, I think? Yeah, from your deck to the graveyard. So it can boost its own level and just send stuff to the graveyard, which this deck really wants to do. Hey, maybe you can do that with Glow-Up Bulb, huh? Mizuki here, more graveyard mechanics, 2 copies of this, level 4, 1700 attack, kind of respectable. But you can banish this from your graveyard to special summon a zombie from your graveyard. This is not once per turn, so if both of these are in your graveyard, you can do it twice. Hey, that's cool. Gozuki is another level 4, 2 copies of this, and this is more graveyard shenanigans. So, during your main phase, if this is in play, you can just send a zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is great, but if this card is sent to the graveyard, then you can, banish another zombie from your graveyard, not this one, to special summon a zombie from your hand. So you can do some tricky things. There's neat stuff you can do with Gozuki. Maybe I'll talk about it later. Necro World Banshee here. This is another card that goes with Zombie World, which we will see in a moment. So it protects Zombie World, okay. But the important thing is, as a quick effect, banish this from your field or graveyard to activate Zombie World directly from your hand or deck. So that's a cool effect on a quick ability. And again, it just gets Zombie World into play. 1 copy, though, of Necro World Banshee because, again, it's so easy to send stuff to the graveyard. Changshi, the Spirit Owl, 1 copy of this, level 6, so you want to special summon this one somehow. But, like many cards, it just sends a zombie from your hand or deck to the graveyard. But if this card is banished by some sort of effect, then you can banish another zombie from your graveyard to special summon this one. So it does special summon itself with a bit of a workaround. Otherwise, it's sometimes just a free special summon from other effects because it then sends other things to the graveyard, and it just keeps the ball rolling. And finally, we have 1 copy of the Doom King Baller Droch. So, previously I had 2 copies of this. You could get away with 2 copies of this. But I think 1 is probably enough, because again, this card does many things. It's kind of a boss monster of the deck, and what it does, during the standby phase, if you have a field spell in the field zone, actually if either player has a field spell, then you can special summon this card in defense position from your graveyard, so it doesn't go away. It keeps coming back every standby phase. And once per chain, when a zombie monster, except this one, activates its effect, then, as a quick effect, you can either negate that effect or banish a monster from the field or graveyard. So this is why it's so important to have all of those zombie-type hand traps, because they are zombies who activate their effects. So then you just get an extra trigger off of Doom King to banish something else, which is real useful. This card is a real pain, and the whole deck kind of revolves around having this thing in play. But because it always comes back, you can also, use it as material on your turn, and then it comes back later. It's a very versatile card as well in that respect. But yeah, great card. Only have the 1, though, because it doesn't go away. It really doesn't. In addition to those zombies, we also have this small package of Shiranuis, just a handful. So we're starting with the Spectral Sword here, a level 2 tuner, which is real cool. It can kind of synchro summon from the graveyard. You banish it and another zombie to synchro summon a zombie synchro monster, but unfortunately that has to be on a different turn than the turn it is sent to the graveyard. So it's cool if it happens, often it doesn't. The important thing is, it is the Shiranui tuner that another card can search for, that we will see in a bit. Shiranui Solitaire here, I run 2 copies of this, level 4. You tribute a zombie monster to special summon a zombie tuner with 0 defense from your deck. Now, typically you're looking for Unizombie, because that will enable you to continue doing other things. So it sends itself to the graveyard to fill your graveyard, it gets another useful monster. It's a pretty good card. Also, it can special summon your banished Shiranuis if it is itself banished, but that doesn't typically happen too often. Shiranui Squire here, 1 copy of this. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon your Shiranui Spectral Sword from your hand or deck. So that's why I have 1 copy of each, just in case you get this. It takes you right to level 6 for your Synchro summons. And then if this card is banished, you can draw a card and discard a card, which is a pretty beneficial effect, really, so it might be worth going out of your way to banish this thing somehow. And the Shiranui Spirit Master, the last one in the pile, level 4. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a Shiranui from your hand or graveyard. Sometimes that happens. But if this card is banished, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it. So this one is removal, and it combos really well with another card that we will see later on. And then, of course, we have Ash Blossom, because what deck would be complete without 3 copies of Ash Blossom? So yeah, we all know what Ash Blossom does. If your opponent searches their library for pretty much anything, you can discard this to negate that effect. But remember, Ash Blossom is a zombie, and in this deck that is relevant for many reasons. In the graveyard, it can be used to do things. It's a tuner, so it can synchro summon things, and it makes the Doom King just that much better. So yeah, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, a great card in this deck. Which will bring us to the spell cards. So we got a pile of these. I'm not gonna separate them in any meaningful way. Zombie World! 2 copies of Zombie World. This is the field spell that really makes the deck tick. Because it turns all monsters on the field and in the graveyards into zombie monsters. Hey, all those Horus monsters, they're zombies now. See? It works. It's all good. Yeah, neither player can tribute summon monsters except zombies. Okay, that never happens. But just turning everything into zombies, there are some decks that fold against that immediately. They can't even function. So yeah, that's kind of a funny side effect of this card, but yeah, Zombie World, you really want it in play if you can get it there for a number of reasons. Ready Fusion, pay 1,000 life points, special summon your level 6 non-effect fusion monster from the extra deck. This is just an easy special summon. Foolish Burial, send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. Hey, that's where most of your monsters want to be. Called by the Grave, to deal with your opponent's hand traps. You can just banish them from the graveyard and negate their effects. And of course you can do this to deal with other cards in their graveyard too. That's always good. And Lightning Storm, 2 copies of Lightning Storm, because Master Duel is best of 1, and you're real thankful to have this if you're going second sometimes. It'll either destroy all of your opponent's attack position monsters, or all of their spells and traps, but only if you control no face-up cards. So yeah, it's a great board wipe for going second. And to finish off the main deck, we have the trap cards. So Shiranui style Swallow's Slash, this is the Shiranui trap card. I run 2 copies of this. Now I gotta tell you, I'm back and forth on even using this card at all, but then I do use it and it's extremely effective, so I gotta keep it, right? It's actually pretty good. You tribute a zombie, target 2 cards on the field to destroy them both, and then you banish a Shiranui from your deck. So those Shiranuis that have added effects, well, this will trigger them when they're banished. So yeah, that's real cool. You can do some real damage with this, and that's why I keep the 2 copies. We also have Infinite Impermanence at 3 copies to finish off the deck, because this is just a great card whether you're going first or second. Target a face-up monster and negate its effects, and if you have nothing in play, you can activate this from the hand. Hey, nothing wrong with that, and that's why we have the 3 copies. There are a handful of new cards in the extra deck, and I'm going to talk about them first, even though they're a little bit out of order compared to the rest of the extra deck, and then we'll talk about all the old news after that. So we're gonna start with the Zombie Vampire because this was the main reason why I made all these changes to the deck. I saw this card and figured, you know what, I really should try my best to somehow make use of this card. So it is a rank 8. It needs 2 level 8 monsters, so that's where your Horus Engine comes in. And, here, let's get this effect kind of in view for you. There you go. So, you're never really gonna steal your opponent's cards, so this first part is probably not terribly useful. But it can't be the target of, effects of special summoned monsters, except those special summoned from the graveyard, so hey, that's kind of nifty. But the main thing is, you can detach a material from this card, and then each player sends the top 4 cards of their deck to the graveyard. And if any monsters were sent by this effect, then you can special summon one of those monsters to your field. This card really gets the ball rolling for this deck. It just does everything this deck wants to do. Some cards trigger being sent to the graveyard, some of them just want to be in the graveyard, others want to be special summoned. So this card kind of just does everything. So yeah, Zombie Vampire, excellent card, and that's what all of the Horus cards are here to do. They are here to get this thing into play. I've also added Pilgrim Reaper, which is a rank 6, and it looks really cool, so you know, that's a big plus. It gains 200 attack and defense for every dark monster in either player's graveyard, unfortunately not just zombies. But you can detach an Excisee material from this card, and each player sends the top 5 cards of their deck to the graveyard. Only use this once per turn. So this is another great way to send a not insignificant number of cards to your graveyard, and again, then you can trigger certain effects or special summon other monsters by their own effects, or what have you. Truth be told, I've never actually used Pilgrim Reaper, but it is technically possible. There are level 6s, and I look forward to the day when I can actually special summon this thing. Then we have Relinquished Anima here. It needs a level 1 monster, except a token. It is a Link 1. So this is really just here as another way to get your, what's it called, your Bloom card, your glow-up bulb, that's what it's called, to the graveyard. It's not really here for its effect, although maybe you could catch your opponent off guard with it, target a face-up monster this card points to, and equip it to this card, and it gains its attack. Like, if you're going first, that's never gonna happen. If you're going second, maybe you can vacuum up your opponent's card, but mostly it's just there in case you have the glow-up bulb in your opening hand. And then we have the Flying Mary, which has more to its name. The Wandering Ghost Ship. Yeah, there you go, that's what it's called. So this is a Link 2. This is a cool one. Target one of your level 5 or higher zombies that's banished or in your graveyard. Place it in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, and if you do, special summon that monster. So, this card gets turned into a continuous spell, and then you special summon that monster. While this card is a continuous spell, target a level 5 or higher zombie you control, destroy a monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to that monster's. Only use this effect once per turn. So this is a Link 2 that sort of functions as a Monster Reborn and can also be removal, so it does a number of things. It has its niche uses. Otherwise, it's just a really cool Link 2 zombie monster. My apologies, it is called Glow Up Bloom and not Glow Up Bulb. I am retroactively correcting myself so you can withhold your angry comments. Anyway, we are moving on to the rest of the extra deck. So these cards are all the same ones that were in the deck originally, I think. Great Mammoth of Goldfine here is just a level 6 fusion. That is your ready fusion target. Easy special summon. Immortal Dragon here is a level 6 synchro that can, it's another one of these cards that can foolish burial your zombies from the deck to the graveyard, and it also comes back sometimes, so it's a bit of a persistent pest. It's kind of cool. Doom Kaiser Dragon is another level 6 synchro. This one needs Plague Spreader Zombie, but you can use it to steal your opponent's zombies from their graveyard. And remember, if you have Zombie World in play, they're all zombies. So yeah, you can do some kind of cool stuff with this. Red Eye's Zombie Necro Dragon gets real big for each zombie monster on the field and in graveyards. And if another zombie monster is destroyed by battle on the field, then you can steal it, which is an interesting ability. This is a level 7 synchro, so that's kind of a weird number for this deck, but occasionally you just need something real big, and then you can work to make this thing. Skeletal Dragon Felgrand here. This one is a more common card to play. 2800 attack and defense is pretty big. Yeah, level 8 synchro is a bit of an easier number to work with. If it's special summoned, you can target a monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard and banish it. And if a monster's special summoned from the graveyard, then you can negate its effects or something. That doesn't happen often. Mostly this is just an easy way to remove something that you don't like. Shiranui Shogun Saga is another level 8. This one, it has 3000 attack, but it can get a whole lot bigger, because you can banish a zombie from your graveyard and this card will gain its attack until the end of the turn. So it's not uncommon for this thing to have 5000 or more attack, and sometimes you need that. Red Eye's Zombie Dragon Lord is a level 10, which is surprisingly easy to do. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, target a zombie in your graveyard and special summon it, and if this card is in your graveyard, banish a zombie you control to special summon this card, so it keeps coming back, and it brings your other things back to set you up for the next turn. And it's a quick effect, so you can also do some fun things with the Doom King Ballard Rock, right? Always good to find more reasons to use that. And the Shiranui Sun Saga is the really big Shiranui, 3500 attack on its own. And you can return any number of zombie synchro monsters that are banished or in your graveyard to the extra deck, and destroy cards your opponent controls equal to that number of cards returned. That doesn't happen often, and it takes a whole lot of work. Well, maybe that Immortal Dragon might be in your graveyard. But if you can pull this off, then you can really clear the field for yourself, and then you're quite thankful to be able to play this thing. So yeah, it's good to have if you need it. And then into the Link monsters, we have Vampire Sucker. This is one that you'll probably go into every game. It only needs 2 zombie monsters. You can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it, but the important thing for this card, though, is that if a zombie monster is special summoned from either graveyard, you can draw a card. So if you've got this in play, and you've got your Doom King in the graveyard, and your Doom King comes back, then you draw a card. Hey, it's a nice little bonus there. A Vendread Savior here. I don't have any other Vendread cards. But the important part of this card's effect, it's somewhere in here. During damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster as a quick effect, send a zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, and that opponent's monster loses attack equal to the level of that monster times 200, which is a weird number. But this is just another way to get something to the graveyard, maybe your Doom King. Yeah, you've got to be pretty desperate to be playing this a Vendread Savior, but sometimes it's all you can do, and you've just got to play a bit of a slower game. And then there is the Vampire Fascinator to finish off the extra deck. This one's a Link 3, this one's a bit bigger, but if it's Link summoned, you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to your field in defense position, and then you're locked into, like, zombies or something. But you can tribute a vampire monster, like this one, target a monster your opponent controls, and take control of it until the end phase. So sometimes that's the only way you can get rid of a particularly tough monster. You just go into this thing, tribute it immediately, and take control of your opponent's card, and then your problems just go away. Okay, now let's just have a quick demonstration on some of the gameplay elements of this deck. Some of this will be the same as my previous video, but whatever, we can go over it again. So, we're gonna start, though, with the new stuff. So, let's assume you have Imseti in your opening hand. Remember, there's 3 of them, there's a non-zero chance that could happen. So what you're gonna do is you're going to discard your Imseti and 1 other card, anything, it does not matter. And then you can add King Sarcophagus to your hand. And then you draw another card as well, because this is not in the realm of being fair. So then you can play your King Sarcophagus. You can discard another card. Now let's move that out of the light. You can discard another card to send your Damutef to the graveyard as well, and both of these cards, as long as you have King Sarcophagus in play, can special summon themselves. So yeah, there you go. You have your 2 level 8s in play, which you can immediately use to play the zombie vampire and then start milling yourself and your opponent, and you get all sorts of other good benefits for having that in play. So yes, that really just goes to show how easy it is to get the zombie vampire onto the battlefield and start all the other things that this deck just loves to do. Now, for this other stuff, we're just gonna assume that we have Zombie World in play. It's not difficult to do in this deck. Maybe you had it in your opening hand, hey, lucky you. Or maybe you got your Necro World Banshee into the graveyard through any number of means. Really, having Zombie World is almost, not always, but almost a given in this deck. So we are going to summon our Unizombie, and we are going to use its effect to raise its own level by 1, and then send our Glow-Up Bloom to the graveyard. So now that this is in the graveyard, its own effect will trigger, it will banish itself, and you might think that you want to just special summon the Doom King right off the bat. After all, you've got the field spell and everything, you're in good shape, but no, you don't want to do that. What you want to do instead is special summon Changshi the Spiridow, because you can then use Changshi's ability to send your Doom King to the graveyard, and yeah, this is practically a free special summon by this effect. And then, Unizombie, because it used its effect, it is now level 4. Level 4 plus level 6 can be used to play your level 10, your, what's it called? Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord. So then you can just play this, or if you don't want the Zombie Dragon Lord in play, you could instead use the 2 of these to link summon your Vampire Sucker. So you've got a couple options there. In fact, depending on what else you can do, remember, this is all just from Unizombie. It is entirely possible to end the turn with both of these things in play. It does happen. But yes, this is sort of something that you want to build toward, because then on your opponent's turn, your Doom King is going to come right back, and then you will draw a card, and you can even use your Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord here to bring other things like Unizombie back, which will also trigger the Doom King's ability. A whole bunch of things will happen at once. And remember, all of your opponent's cards are zombies. So this is sort of the bread and butter of what this deck wants to do. This is the main quote-unquote combo. Maybe it's not a true combo, because you do need to somehow get Zombie World in play, but you know what? It's a card game, and sometimes you do in fact have to, play your cards and know what you're doing. So yes, long story short, this is largely what you're trying to do. And maybe you even have zombie vampire out there just to make things even more miserable for your opponent. Now, here's another cool little interaction that you can do with Gozuki and Changshi. It's surprising how often this level 6 Changshi actually comes up in this deck. So, Gozuki can just send Changshi from the deck to the graveyard. And then if Gozuki is somehow sent to the graveyard itself, maybe whatever, you're link summoning it with something else. It doesn't matter how it goes to the graveyard. Then Gozuki's effect will activate. And here we see how it works so well with Changshi, because Gozuki can banish Changshi to special summon something, whatever, from your hand. But then that will trigger Changshi's effect, so you can banish Gozuki to special summon Changshi, which is really cool. And then you can use Changshi to send something else to the graveyard and just keep going like that. So it's worth keeping in mind all of the effects on this card, not just the Foolish Burial effect. Because it really is quite versatile, which again, this is one of those cards I wasn't 100% sure about when I first made the deck, but the more I use it, the more I realize just how powerful of a card it actually is. And to finish off the gameplay section, I just want to talk about Shiranui-style Swallow's Slash a little bit. So, remember what this card does is it sacrifices one of your zombies to destroy 2 cards on the field, which is really good into and of itself. But then you get to banish one of your Shiranuis from your deck. And, well, you've got a couple pretty good options here. Shiranui Spirit Master you can banish to destroy a 3rd card, and that is devastating, let me tell you. Or you can banish the Squire to draw a card and discard a card if there's nothing else that you need to banish. Really, this card, again, surprisingly, will make or break some of your games. If you know the right time to use this, you are going to leave your opponent with nothing, while you might have just set yourself up pretty well with other things, either in the graveyard or by drawing an extra card. So it's a cool little trap card, and yeah, that's why I still use it. It is actually quite usable. And there you have it. That has been my Zombie Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck as it currently stands in the year 2025. I still like to focus on the cool zombie dragons, and yes, you do play them a lot, but now we also have the added benefit of being able to use the Horus Engine to go into the zombie vampire, which will allow the deck to just do ridiculous things sometimes. So it's a whole lot of fun to play. The thing, though, that you need to remember about this deck is that it's sometimes not a very fast deck, and that's something that takes some getting used to. Sometimes you do actually have to play the long game, and just use your Doom King or use your trap cards or whatever to just stall out the opponent and just slowly do damage or slowly drain their resources like a vampire, perhaps. And eventually you can win the game that way. So, yeah, maybe it's not an explosive combo deck like many decks today are, but it is still a lot of fun, and the more you know about this deck, the more you know what it can do, the more you will be able to do it, and the more success you will be able to have. But yes, that is the end of today's deck profile video, and I do hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, then please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, and I do hope that you'll join me again next time for whatever deck I might be profiling next. Happy Halloween, until next time, ta-ta. Oh, yeah! That was worth waiting for. Oh my goodness gracious, the double secret rare box. I like it. Oh, and the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Oh my, oh my, oh my. That's a good one. Okay, here we go. This is the card I wanted. The rest of this, garbage. Don't need it.